US tonight, Woolworths and Coles have been accused of offering fake discounts on hundreds of grocery items, from cheese to toothpaste, chocolates to lozenges. The cop on the beat, the ACCC, today stunned the market by launching legal action against the supermarket giants. The case against Woolies and Coles is that they claimed they were dropping prices on more than 200 products each, when in fact they were increasing the price. Here was the ACCC chair, Gina Cass-Gottlieb, today.
The ACCC alleges that the price discounts as promoted were misleading because the discount was illusory. For many years, each of us as consumers will have seen the campaigns of Woolworths and Coles that have led us to understand that the prices dropped and down prices promotions relate to sustained reductions in regular pricing.
So to be specific about it, Woolies and Coles are accused of raising the price of items by up to 43% for a small period. They then lower it back to either the original cost and yet claim that it had been a major discount. In the case of Oreo biscuits, an example the ACCC chair gave today, they were originally $3.50 for a family pack. Woolworths then lifted the price to $5. They then dropped it back by just 50 cents to $4.50 to claim that it had been discounted, even though that price was about 30% higher than the original. The Prime Minister spoke about this and he said these were all serious claims.
Today, the ACCC has alleged that Woolworths and Coles temporarily increased the prices of 266 Woolworths products and 245 Coles products for short periods of time before placing them on prices dropped and down promotions. These are serious allegations that the ACCC is bringing before the courts. If this is found to be true, it's completely unacceptable. This is not the Australian spirit. Customers don't deserve to be treated as fools by the supermarkets.
The PM was loving this. Let's be clear. The misleading conduct by Coles and Woolworths would be welcome news for him. He's been trying to turn the supermarkets into villains in this cost of living crisis. And the PM took full political advantage. He rushed to hold a press conference to re-announce a recommendation from Craig Emerson's review. It was completed months ago. Albanese said he'd have a mandatory grocery code to fine the supermarkets multi-million dollars for serious breaches.
We know there's more to do, and my government wants to make sure that Australian consumers get a fair go.
And the Coalition today also welcomed this bombshell ACCC court case.
The homegrown inflation is bearing down on every Australian household, particularly when it comes to groceries. It's crucial that we have fair and transparent price advertising. And if there's been misleading discounting, that's completely unacceptable and appropriate action should be taken.
Politically, Albanese needed today's move by the ACCC because at the moment voters are blaming the Prime Minister for the cost of living crisis and for the inflation remaining sticky. Resolve polling in the Herald today shows that Labor's primary vote is at record lows. In every state, Labor's primary is far lower than the Coalition's. And it's lower even than at the last election, when Labor's primary then was at historic lows. Now, Labor is now in Gillard-era territory during the period over the broken promise on the carbon tax. Yet for Peter Dutton to win the next election, he needs to get the Coalition's primary vote above 40%. And at the moment, he's only managing that in Queensland. And to do this, to really get a lift, Peter Dutton needs to take full ownership of the cost of living crisis, and he needs to be able to pin it on the Prime Minister, just like Albanese did on Scott Morrison when there'd only been one rate rise before the last election. Now, in the meantime, the likelihood of a hung parliament is cementing for Albanese. And a hung parliament with the radical Greens, who are fueling our anti-Semitism crisis, and some of the Teals who aren't much better, would be highly alarming. Given the Greens want a seat at the table, they're going to make demands on the government. Well, allowing this to happen, allowing them to help run the country, would be grotesque.